Steven, why did you feel the need yesterday to climb the Salesforce Tower and then fly to LA to go attack Dave Chappelle all in one day?
Because I'm an agent of chaos.
That's the best response for that.
Dude, that was crazy. The
Which one?
Salesforce Tower thing. Because
Spider Man? The pro life
I
Spider Man, as he calls himself?
I I is that what he calls himself?
Yeah, it's Spider Man. Spider Man. He's not a fan of abortions.
Do you think of that? How long did it take you to think of that?
Oh, instantly when I heard his name.
Oh. Yeah, I guess that's just how your mind works.
Yeah.
Dude, I was I mean, could you imagine if 95.7 was in our old building?
Well,
And I
yeah,
mean,
we used to be across the street from the Salesforce Tower, and we would always see. Didn't we always see like pornos getting filmed or something across the street?
no.
Yeah, we did. Don't turn this around like I'm crazy. We would see something being filmed from time to time, naked ladies or something. It
Wait,
wasn't in the Salesforce Tower, but it was in like the tower that was adjacent to us back at the old building.
you saw something being filmed there?
Oh, dude, we used to stop Haberman and Middlecoff shows just to be like, "Whoa, what's going on over there?" And like to like play like taped interviews and be like, "Oh, something's going on over there." Women getting undressed,
From
like
10
people.
from 10 to 12?
Yeah, dude, you have to do a morning shoot sometimes.
I guess the lighting's right.
You know how the porn industry is.
Well, okay, but I mean, I'm not denying that like you've seen that before because I certainly had when I was working at nights. I mean, from 7 to 11 and I'd be there till like 12 or whatever. Like I've definitely seen someone accidentally leave the curtains open,
Yeah,
you know.
that happens.
We've seen that happen before, but I've never seen anyone actually being filmed. That's wild.
Oh yeah, no, we used to see that from time to time. Wasn't often, but there'd be like, "Oh, someone's naked." But
Yeah.
regardless, can you imagine if that was happening and someone's like climbing up up the window, just be like, "Oh, holy shit, who is this guy?" Ugh. And so yeah, we'll talk about that more. But yeah, just crazy that this guy climbed it like he's Mark Andre Leclerc, whatever the hell from. You ever seen that Netflix movie, The Alpinist?
No.
Great movie. Uh, this guy puts the free solo guy to shame. He climbs up like mountains and like glaciers, all just freehand. Eventually, he died, and it was a sad story. But yeah, that guy
So
had.
the other guy from Free Solo kind of has the upper hand right now,
Well,
is what you're telling me.
yeah, if you want to put it that bluntly, sure.
No, I've been meaning to watch that. It's real. It is on my recommended. Like I'm not kidding you. The Alpinist is on my. It's Alpinist or Alpinist.
Alpinist.
You sure?
It's not alpinist.
Alpinist. Get
No,
your
that's
mind
like
out of the gutter.
no. It's not like the pianist. It's alpinist.
Okay, all right.
I
The
believe so.
Alpinist.
Or I could just be childish.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a Formula One fan and they have a team named Alpine, Alpine.
Oh,
So that could be the reason why I'm getting things mixed up here. But that is
keen on
wild.
the scene.
Going up the Salesforce Tower like that, I don't know how anybody does that. Like, I don't know how anyone free climbs anything, let alone the Salesforce Tower. But I don't even know how you get ready for that. Like, what do you like scale it beforehand? I know, like when the French guy who tightrope walked around or across the
Yeah,
Twin Towers back in
yeah,
the 70s or the
and he
80s or
fell.
whatever. No, he did not.
Yeah, he
But
did. He fell
no,
eventually.
no, he didn't.
You talking about the Joseph Gordon-Levitt guy that he played in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, he fell. Didn't he
No, he
fall?
didn't.
I think it was
No.
somebody else. Pretty sure he
I don't
fell.
know.
Anyway,
I don't know who you're thinking of.
I'm pretty. There was a famous guy who would do stunts like that, and he fell.
Not this dude. But
All right,
anyway,
I'm looking it up.
he was up like he was scouting the Twin Towers for months, really, just trying to document it, trying to plan out how he was going to get up and all this stuff. I mean, what did this dude just clearly there was no months of planning because of what this dude was climbing for because of
Ooh,
the
yeah.
draft opinion of trying to overturn
Oh wait, yeah, you're
this
right.
abortion law, which is terrible. Um, So I understand why he's doing it, but there's no way that this guy planned this because you didn't know that this draft opinion would come out. So he must have just done it right away. This is impressive.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Wow.
But all for the sake of pro-life.
Is that why?
Yeah, he's a pro-life guy. That's why he was doing it. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That would have been really ironic if he didn't make it.
I know, right? Like, hey, it's his right to choose to climb up the building. Jesus Christ. Whatever.
Oh boy. Wow.
If that's what you want to waste your time.
There's a lot of layers with that.
There is. Just to clarify, I must be thinking of somebody else because you are correct. The guy that Joseph Gordon-Levitt played in that movie is still alive. So there's somebody that died in the 70s or 80s that was tight roping across something. Huh. Where's Ernie and Stephen Babs when we need him?
I know, right? Ernie would have this random answer.
I know. Anyway, welcome to Just Your Opinion, man. We'll talk about all the crazy stuff going on in the world later. But let's talk about this crazy series between the Warriors and Grizzlies. And the series is tied up 1-1. Warriors looked pretty good for most of the game. It was looking like it was going to be the Andrew Wiggins game, Steven.
Your boy had it.
Yeah, and then he didn't have it. With
almost
some turnovers.
Had it. It wasn't just the turnovers. There was the missed three that wasn't. Oh, yeah. He had a wide open look in the left wing. I was thinking, like I texted you. Did I text you? I think I texted you. I was texting like three different people. Yeah. I think I texted you like as soon as JJ goes down, Jaren Jackson Jr., I said attack the rim, just get to the rim. And they did on the first possession with Jordan Poole, and then they pretended they were going to a Steph Curry. Steph faked as if he was going to, took a couple of defenders with him, left Wiggins wide open, and I thought, okay, this is Wiggins' moment. Here we go. Because I was excited for him. I'm not going to lie to you. When that dunk happened.
That dunk was vicious, and I want to see more of that. I want him to drop his balls around the rim. Come on, Wiggins.
He could, and he had a moment to it later in the second half too, and he didn't do it. But then he missed that three, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was the one where he could have put the game away there."
He could have. He wasn't the only one missing threes last night. So let's get into it. Warriors lose 106-101. This would have been just the icing on the cake to steal 2 games in Memphis before they go back to San Francisco, but they don't. And there's a lot of factors. The first quarter felt like a bloodbath right away. I don't even know how quick into the game, but retaliation for Draymond Green's flagrant 2 was had by Dylan Brooks. You could speculate that, but that's what I think. It was just a little hard and a little dirty, like Steve Kerr said. So Dylan Brooks winds up the arm and slaps Gary Payton II across the face, and Gary Payton lands on his arm, his elbow. And that was ruled a flagrant 2. So if you're going to throw Draymond out for his thing, you got to throw Dylan Brooks out for his thing. But it led to something much more significant in the series and the rest of these playoffs because GP2 is out now with a broken elbow. And it's just terrible because, it's been well documented how much this guy's been through to get to the NBA, how much of a difference he makes. He's starting in this series to go up against Ja Morant. And now they're not going to have him for the rest of this series, maybe the rest of the playoffs if they're able to advance. But we'll get to the play a little later and everything that went on with it. And then Draymond gets just bashed right in the eye. Who bashed him? It was Xavier Tillman. Yeah.
Yep. Tillman.
And his eye was all bloody. It's bad when Bob Myers is rushing to the locker room.
Yeah. That had me nervous. When I heard Bob Myers is going to the locker room for Draymond, I'm like, okay, I've heard that before. I've heard that with Steph back in 2020. Yep. I've heard that with Draymond before. I've heard it with Clay.
I heard it with KD.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad Bob didn't come out of the press conference last night crying that Draymond Green's injured.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like that had me a little nervous, but it seemed like he was okay because of what he did.
He had he had a little swollen puppy dog eye with the stitches and came back out and then flipped off the fans as he was coming out. And I agree with Draymond. Like, they're going to boo him. And it was funny. He said after the game, I make, this amount of money, so I'll take the fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's different than it's different than Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, where Kyrie is just trying to antagonize the Celtics fans, where Draymond is legitimately hurt. They're booing him for his injury, and he's like, just fuck all of you.
Yeah. Well,
so yeah,
Kyrie was directing it at somebody though. Like Kyrie was going after.
He was doing it to all
fan.
the Celtics fans. He hates the Celtics fans because he feels that, I don't know, whatever happened with Boston.
There were some specifics though. Like Draymond Draymond just said the FedEx Forum was giving him a collective cheer as he was going off the floor, even though he could have possibly had a concussion and blood's dripping down.
Yeah.
So he decided to flip him off. I like the move.
I like it too. And then Kyle Anderson comes in for Dylan Brooks, and oof, that guy can't shoot. That is some disrespect by the Warriors. Just like, all right, do your thing, man.
Yeah.
And it worked out well. But Jordan Poole, sloppy with the turnovers. Klay Thompson, I thought he would come back from clanking those 2 missed free throws, and he had a rough game. Steph Curry had a rough game too, but he was clutch in the fourth quarter. What else happened?
Well, Steph, let's not get it twisted. He did have a couple of threes, but Steph turned the ball over 3 times.
No, he did.
And he also forced, like I talked about that Wiggins 3. Well, Steph decided to force a shot and try to shoot the ball over like a double team when there was 18 seconds left on the play clock, or the shot clock rather. So I do think that Steph didn't have his overall best game either. Like it was just bad overall from everybody except for Wiggins, except for Otto Porter, in my opinion, and Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah. And they're going to need those guys going forward. The 3 Gs, the 3 guards, and this greatest lineup, more so than Kevin Durant, said by me, went a combined 6 from 29, 6 of 29 from 3 from the Splash Brothers, including Jordan Poole, who I include now as the Splash Brother. And yeah, a pivotal call in the fourth quarter with Draymond Green getting the rebound that was called a foul. Things like that are going to happen. It is what it is. You still could have been in the game if Klay Thompson doesn't travel the ball at the end there. Just a bad offensive night. I got to tip my cap to Ja Morant. That guy is really impressive. Really impressive. The way he glided to the rim on the dunk. He makes great plays. 47 points last night. How much did he score the first game? 34?
Yes, it was 34 points on 31 shots.
Yes. And 47 last night.
And then he had 47 points on 31 shots.
Yeah. So what I'll say is the Warriors doing a good job kind of taking care of everybody else because is it Jackson Jr.? What's his first name?
Jaren.
So bad with name. Jaren Jackson Jr., while he did have some big shots here or there, he didn't have the same output like he did in game 1. Desmond Bane has not been good in this series at all. He's been battling the back injury. But the Warriors themselves, for being 1-1, I think in both games they played B- basketball and are managed to be tied in the series. I think the Grizzlies have been the better team so far in the series, but they lack just the experience of the playoffs to put a team away. And the Warriors have crept back in every game, and the Warriors were right there with them for most of the game last night, despite the fact that Klay, Steph, and Jordan Poole were so ice cold. But in the end, they pull away, and it's just going to be tough now without GP2 in the starting lineup and how they're going to stop Ja Morant. They're doing a good job defensively here or there, but they got to do a better job on him.
Yeah, agreed. But, it's like Steve Kerr said after the game. This game wasn't lost on defense. After all, you held them to 39% overall shooting. They had the upper hand in 3-pointers, but even then you were only holding them to a 30% clip. It's not like they were doing that at an amazing rate. Ja Morant with yet another fantastic night. Not only the way that he gets to the rim, we all know that Ja Morant can do that, like how crafty he is, everything. Like he's done this throughout his time in the NBA, but it's the 3-point shooting in which he stunk, to be honest with you. He's like a career 28% 3-point shooter or something like that. And in that last series against the Timberwolves, he was 4 of 20. I could be wrong on that number. I think he was 4 of 20, though. Actually, that math doesn't make sense in my head because I also know he shot 18%, so 4 of 20 doesn't really make sense. But
regardless, he was bad, and he was bad in the first series, yes.
He was bad. But now, game 1, 4 of 11. Game 2, 5 of 12. In one of those threes, the one possession, because GP2 was absolutely missed, And I do think that you would have contained him a little more. I don't know if you would have stopped him in this game because he had all the momentum, but that final, like after Zaire Williams hit that shot, the rookie who was fantastic in this game, Zaire Williams really stepped up in Dylan Brooks' absence and Kyle Anderson just not being able to shoot. But after Zaire Williams had made the three, and then eventually the Warriors go up by 4, I think 11 of the 13 shots that the Grizzlies were able to take, not possessions, the actual possessions that ended in a shot. 11 of those 13 were from Ja Morant. And the other 2 were just fouls on those players. And Ja was just saying, all right, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get 4 of my teammates. We're going to put them on the corners. We're going to put you and you on the baseline. We're going to put you and you on the elbow. We're going to get Andrew Wiggins here. And I'm just going to do ISO ball. Call a screen. Boom. Bring that guy from the left baseline. Get him to set a pick. I'm going to go around it, and I'm just going to beat everyone out. There was one possession, though, where it didn't work because the Warriors switched to a zone, and he wasn't ready for it. So he stepped back and tried to take a 3, and then he missed it. But then the offensive rebound goes back to them, and they end up scoring on that possession. So, they did everything they could do. But you're right, though. Ja is just freaking awesome. And then jawing with Steph, like, that's great at the end of a series. Steph goes to him and Jaren Jackson Jr. at the end of the game saying, this is going to be a fun series. Then Ja Morant passes back to him in game 2 saying, yeah, we're going to have some fun. This is going to be fun. Like, that's great. And the way that he said it after the game, too, I love the way that Ja Morant put it, which was, hey, man, I'm going up against Steph Curry. I have so much respect for him, but this is my dream series right now. So, I gave him a little of it back, but this is what I want to do, and this is what we want. I really like that.
Yeah, no, it's good. I don't know if the series is ending anytime soon because the Grizzlies have really impressed me with the way they've played, and God, it was so close to being the Andrew Wiggins game. If he just had 11, the dunk was sweet and the trash talk was sweet afterwards too. But I want to see more of it. I want to see more because there's going to be games like that where the 3 ball does not land, and we need to play ISO ball. We need to play in the paint, and that could be Wiggins' game. He's doing a great job defensively, getting rebounds and with the flow of the offense, but he needs to put a little more offensive output if the other guys are not landing shots.
I know. And it really, like, when people are on the air today, or not on the air, but through like the YouTube and the text line and the Twitch and all that stuff as I'm keeping track, everyone's getting on Otto Porter for not knocking down shots or passing up open looks. Because his shooting has not been good in this postseason, and it really hasn't. But the minutes that he got last night, I think he came in with like 4 minutes left in the third. He was so active on the offensive glass. All the 50-50 balls, all those long rebounds, as they're called, where it clanks and then the ball just goes sailing, and it looks like there's a chance that a Grizzly can get it, but Porter just comes swooping in, kind of like PJ Tucker with the Heat. I was really encouraged by that, and I thought that Otto Porter gave him a couple of more chances there at the end of the game. It's not good when you have him, Damian Lee, and Jonathan Kuminga in with 9 minutes left of the fourth. Like you don't want those 3 on the court. I actually thought Steve Kerr kind of made a mistake. Kevon Looney only had 9 minutes in this game, and with this type of game where GP2's out, I think Kevon Looney, me and Bonte were talking about it, Kevon Looney needs more minutes in this one. I just think so.
Makes sense.
But other than Damian Lee, like I didn't understand what the point with Damian Lee was. I mean, you're not bringing him in there. He wasn't shooting. He wasn't really playing defense. Maybe for his perimeter defense, I don't really know what it was.
Yeah.
So I do think that there was a mistake there, but Otto Porter Jr., man, when he stole the ball, pickpocketed, I forgot whoever it was, and then Jonathan Kuminga led to a Jonathan Kuminga breakaway dunk.
Yeah,
that was awesome. And then the offensive rebound. I think it was after Wiggins missed was it after Wiggins missed the 3? Or I think it was actually Clay who missed the 3. And Otto Porter grabs the offensive rebound, gives it to Steph, and Steph clanks it off the backboard and gets it in, forcing a timeout. So I thought he was awesome, but you need your shooters to step up. Like, you need your star players to play like star players, and they just haven't done that yet. I'm still very confident. I think they could take 2 games at Chase Center, even without GP2. If the Grizzlies play like they did again, I don't think the Warriors are going to play like this again, where they're shooting like this. So I'm feeling okay. I just really sick for GP2 though, man. Really sick for
Yeah.
him.
Let's talk about that real quick because that's the biggest thing from this game is
Yeah.
that Gary Payton Jr. or Gary Payton II is pretty much out for the playoffs. And they're getting all the doctors to check everything. But it sounds like with a fractured elbow, he's not going to be able to return. And that just sucks because this guy's journey is well documented, and we know him with his father and everything. And he's just been so fun to watch this season, from the dunks to his defensive play to being, you know, another offensive guy when they needed in that Nuggets series. Was it game 5 where he came up big, or was it no? Was it game 3 actually? I think it was game 3 where he was landing shots in the fourth quarter. But I mean, he has been, he's been crucial for this series because he's the one that's been guarding Ja Morant. And you can make the argument that maybe it hasn't been working well and it's just hard to guard Ja in general. But he will be missed. And it sucks that he will not be a part of this thing going forward.
Yeah, it was. I think it was game 3 where he just was being left open and just started knocking all of them down. But when it comes to the play itself, plus he's going to be a free agent after this year. Like your Dylan Brooks cost him a lot of money. I think
He did.
At least this season. I don't think he cost him his career. I think GP2 is going to come back stronger than ever. But
and
he
back
was
on
a
the
free
Warriors.
agent. Yes, but he was a free agent, and you did cost him a pretty penny there because I think he was making that here in the postseason, or maybe he's already done enough to earn some of that. Because I don't know if Wiggins has done enough to continue this. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone after this year, which I don't even want to I bring it up for I don't know what reason. But I'm just trying to
because for the Rudy Gobert rumors, of course.
Well, oh God, I'm telling you, don't bring a guy with bees as pets on the team. Yeah, he has bees.
I know.
You haven't seen? Okay, good.
I'm just referencing Will Arnett from Arrested Development. Bees.
Bees. But what'd you think of the play, though? What'd you think of the?
It was dirty.
The hit.
It was dirty. If anybody wants to compare it to Draymond's thing, it's apples to fucking pizza pie. It's not the same thing. And yeah, I agree with Steve. You broke the code. There's ways to do things in this league, and when a guy is going up in the air, you don't need to bash him down with your arm. Do I think it was intentional? No. But he was trying to send a message. The Grizzlies were trying to send a message early.
That's the key. That's the key right there. They were trying to send a message. No one has the intent of breaking a dude's elbow. It's like, hey, like in that split second where he sees GP2 going on the other side of the court, Dylan Brooks isn't thinking in his head, oh, yeah, I'm going to intentionally foul him, and then he's going to go down, he's going to break his elbow. No, but he wanted to send a message early, and that message ended in this player being out for the series. Now, if you're a fan, a lot of fans want him suspended for the rest of the series. And if you're a fan, I'm thinking of it this way. Like Dylan Brooks is the best guard on Steph Curry on this team. Offensively, he it's kind of like Klay Thompson, really. He just like forces up shots and, tries to get going, even though those shots aren't there. Like he was already doing that when they were up 8 early in the game. But I'd say, like, if you take out Ja's stopper and you took out and it was the Steph stopper who did it, then take the Steph stopper out for the rest of the series. That's how it would be as a fan. But in the reality, I think he's going to get one game only, and there's precedence for it. Grayson Allen, what he did to Alex Caruso earlier in the year, where it was kind of the same play, except Allen just kind of hooked him around the neck, and Caruso broke his wrist, fractured his wrist, was out for 6 weeks. So if you're going to look for precedents, there it is, because all the other suspensions, it was actually kind of fun. I was going down memory lane of suspensions from this year. I totally forgot about LeBron and Isaiah Stewart. Just whole situation that happened.
Angry run.
That happened in November. Totally forgot about that. The Jokic and I think it was Markieff or Marcus. I never know which Morris twin. One of the Morris twins. He ends up taking him out, but that didn't have anything to do with the actual play that was happening. That was totally off the ball. So you also had Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood, who both went at their assistant coach. Ended up getting suspended for that. Domantas Sabonis going at an official. So you've had suspensions, but they're not for any plays that happen on the ball except for the one with Grayson Allen. So it's probably going to be a one gamer.
Yeah, I know that some people want him suspended for the rest of the series, but that's not realistic. And
No.
that's not Adam Silver's new NBA where they're going to suspend players for multiple games in the playoffs. I think one game's enough for me. And I'm expecting that to be announced shortly here. And yeah, I mean, Steve Kerr was honest. He usually is. And I liked in the moment where he was like, it's not physical, it's just straight up dirty. And yeah, it just sucks. It absolutely sucks that that had to happen. And we will miss Gary Payton the second going forward in the series. But I'm with you, Steven. I still think that they have a chance to win this series. I just think that last night was kind of eye opening in the fact that they're not going to back down, and they are a physical team. The one thing I kept thinking about is if they're going to play like the bad boy Detroit Pistons, then the Warriors got to be the Bulls, and they got to be as nasty and physical right back, but also make their shots. They're capable of doing it. Also, but the Grizzlies are also capable of shooting threes as well, and I'm very impressed by it. The one thing I'm worried about, and I texted you this last night, is that now it's back to the Bay Area. It's back to San Francisco. And I know you got a lot of crap for it, Stephen, when you said it on the radio that you're questioning whether or not Chase Center can be as loud as Oracle.
You know what? I think I actually, like, people got my back on that one after last night and seeing what happened last night, because I mentioned it this morning as I was filling in. Yeah. And I got a lot of, Steven, you're right. Like that, I agree with you on that one. People need to be loud. They don't need something to trigger the crowd noise. This needs to be so loud coming up on Saturday. So I think whatever that statement I made was, whoever called me out, and I don't know who did. It was like 5:45 in the morning, so maybe I was overreacting to that one little message that I got. Okay, yeah, it was 2 messages, but
you made it seem like it was a flurry of text, just being like, "Oh, come on, Warriors, bro."
Yeah. It was.
You gonna go against Dub Nation like that?
Yeah, it was in between all the dudes or ladies who text in their take and then give me a "thanks, Steven, you suck" at the end of it. That's kind of an inside joke for the pregame show.
What a waste of time. Time.
It's great. But yeah, anyway, keep going. Sorry.
All I'm saying is this, Dub Nation. And by the way, Warriors fans, I love you. But Dub Nation, come on. There's a Raider Nation, Dub Nation, just Warriors fans. That's what you should call yourself. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that.
You don't like Dub Nation? I kind of like Dub Nation.
Not really. I never was a fan of Dubs. They're the Warriors. But regardless, this is the time. This is the time if you want to prove that Oracle or that Chase Center could be just as loud as Oracle. This is the time. Saturday night. You got 3 days to prepare. The biggest thing with Warriors fans lately is that there's been a new type of fan that comes to the arena. And the old fans have been priced out. And now they're obviously a big ticket item. They're one of the more interesting things in sports that people want to see. And that comes with a new, nice arena and new fan base that you're going to get a lot of high rollers that don't care as much about basketball. For, 50 years that the Warriors were in Oakland, they had diehard fans. They had people showing up during the terrible times, it's a great time out, to the We Believe, which the anniversary was yesterday, of the Warriors beating the Dallas Mavericks. And people still say, despite all the recent championships, that is as loud as that arena has ever been. And what I'm saying is basically that Oakland fans had to deal with a lot of crap before their team got good. And they've experienced terrible times. And then they were rewarded for the Warriors being just unbelievable. The 5-year stretch, going to 5 straight NBA finals, 3 championships. And now, because they got so good, they get to go to San Francisco. But San Francisco fans have to prove that they can be just as loud as the Oakland fans. And I know there's a divide between San Francisco and Oakland, and you know, Oakland's hard, San Francisco's soft. I don't believe any of that stuff. What I believe is that if you care about this team and you want this arena to be just as good as Oracle, then you got to prove it. You can't have Grant Hill or whoever's broadcasting the game on Saturday night being like, this game is really, quiet right now. This arena is really quiet. Where are the fans? It needs to be loud. It needs to be rocking. It needs to match the energy of the Grindhouse in Memphis with all of them singing "Whoop That Trick" like Iron Eagle did last night, which was hilarious. But it just needs to come to life. If you wanted to do this, if you wanted to go to San Francisco, you need to show that you could be as loud as Oracle. And Saturday night's the time to prove it. You're not going to win. They're not going to win the series with just a quiet arena. And what helps the Grizzlies or what helps the Grizzlies in the series is their fans. They are loud. They make that arena, come to life. And that's what Chase Center needs to do. I'm not doubting they could do that, but it has been questionable a little bit. There was lulls in the Nuggets series, and it needs to be like this for this series and more series going forward. So I'm putting it on you, Chase Center. If you want to be the new Oracle Arena, then you got to prove it. You got to prove it this Saturday. You got to be loud, and you got to be as good as Oracle, because that's the only way the Warriors are going to win this series. They feed off that energy. Klay Thompson has called out the crowd before, rightfully so. They need to feed off your energy. It needs to be loud. You need to be as intimidating to the Grizzlies as the Warriors players are.
I want them to have free yellow shirts. They're just way more effective when it comes to a crowd. And I also need the crowd to wear them. The crowd didn't wear them their last game.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many strength in numbers shirts I have? Shirts are the key. Did they not pass out shirts in the last series?
No, they've been passing out shirts.
Okay,
people
good.
just haven't been wearing them.
You got to wear them,
and they've been
put it on. People put them on.
They've been these all black shirts, and I just don't think that works for this sort of environment. You need something that's loud. You need something that stands out, and I think yellow does that. And plus, if you're one of those, it forces fans to, because fans are already wearing black shirts. Not a lot of fans are wearing shirts of this color. So if other Warrior fans are putting these types of yellow shirts on, and you're not doing it, it's easy to spot you out, because you stick out like a sore thumb if you're not wearing it. So that's number one for me. Number two, I'm kind of tired of trying to turn this place into Oracle. It's not going to be Oracle. It's not going to be Oracle. It is. Let me try and think of a
Levi's.
A brother combo in sports, like an athlete, athletes in sports who are brothers. I don't know, is there a older brother than a younger brother who comes in? Let me think.
Peyton Manning Oracle Arena and Eli Manning's the Chase Center.
Exactly. You need exactly, dude, to live up to your older brother. You need those big moments, and at least just be up there in the conversation. Kind of with Oracle and Eli. I don't know if Eli and Peyton are really there.
Eli.
The one thing you don't want it to turn into is a younger Justin Upton trying to live up to his brother BJ Upton, which quite frankly wasn't a lot to live up to. But then Justin Upton got the big deal. He was good for a year, and then he kind of stunk for the rest of his career. You don't want to turn into the Upton brothers. You want to turn into something else. I don't know who. I can't think off the top of my head. I guess Peyton and Eli would be one, but you're just not going to be Oracle. It's not going to be the same. It's just not. But you're right though. If there's any time right now to trigger the fans, it is what happened in this Grizzlies game. But also, I gotta say, man, this is what happens though with a lot of Warrior fans, complaining about the play by Dylan Brooks and all that. But then there's also those same Warrior fans who are saying that the NBA is soft and we need more physical brand of basketball. Well, this is what happens when you play a physical brand of basketball. Guys get hurt. Guys get stitches. So they got the series that they wanted, so they better show out at Chase Center whenever they do go.
Now I'm with you, Steven. Despite the fact that I didn't care for the play last night, and I hate the fact that GP2 is out for the remainder of the playoffs, it is kind of fun. It is kind of fun to have this physicality in a basketball series.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, let's just say hypothetically that Dylan Brooks is not suspended for whatever reason. Then Chase Center needs to make that guy feel hated. and make him feel like he's not wanted here and he needs to be public enemy number one now. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not expecting Chase Center to be Oracle. It never was going to be. But when you hear it, when you see it, and when you experience it, it needs to feel like home court advantage. So it's going to be hard to live up to those expectations that Oracle Arena had for 5 straight seasons, or even before that, for the lifetime that the for the lifetime that the Warriors have been an Oracle. But you need to replicate it in some form or fashion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I go back actually to, if you want to know, like, not if you want to know what an OG fan looks like, but I remember going to a game. I think it was the year prior to Oracle's last season. I think it was in 2018.
Okay,
and
yeah, right.
It was a game against the. I think it was a game against the Timberwolves, if I'm not mistaken. A game that one where it was one of those games in the regular season where the Warriors were going to crush that team. You just knew it, like it, because the Warriors were that good. And we were there. We were at the second deck, and a lot of people were quiet, during their run. But there's one dude in the front row where of the second deck of our section, where every single possession on defense, he's going, defense, and he didn't stop the entire game, just kept on going. And he was on his own. Like, he was just, he wasn't with anybody. He was on his own. And
Love
I'm like,
that.
I'm like, that is an OG Warrior fan right there. Like, that's what it used to look like in the playoffs. So you need that to get going. Like, we focus so much on the Warriors chance. The Warriors chance will come. It's the defense. It's getting them going there, getting loud. Like, I don't know, man. I'm excited though. I think Game 3 is the time to do it. But you ever seen those OG Warrior fans before? Like, you can point.
Oh yeah,
say,
dude.
yep, that's it right there. Yep.
I need it from everybody. I need it from Sweater Mom. I need it from the shiny suit guy that does the dance, the little thing.
What happened to Shiny Sweater Mom? What happened to her? We haven't seen her too much.
It's two different things, Steven. It's the Sweater Mom. It's the shiny suit guy. So there was Sweater Mom who would dance with the sweater, and there was the guy with the golden suit that would do the little dance.
Yeah. Did I ask about the golden suit guy? No, I asked about the sweater mom.
She's not wearing a golden sweater. It's a blue sweater she wears.
Whatever. It's one of those sick ass Christmas sweaters that they
came
out
needs
with
to
a little
be
while
there.
Back.
She needs to be there on Saturday. The shiny suit guy needs to be there. The hoop troop that comes out in the arena during things. They need to be there shooting things out in the crowd. We need Franco Finn just getting everybody all amped up for the fourth quarter.
Captain Jack Sparrow from that hoop
yes,
crowd.
That guy. Yes, people know who we're talking about. If you've been to Warriors games, the guy with the long. That guy's been there for legitimately like years.
When I first went decades. When I first went to a Warrior game, my first one ever was in 2009 or 2010, I think. Might have been 2010. Like, because that's when I first started becoming a Warrior fan. I could admit that I wasn't there for the We Believe years. Really, I started becoming a Warrior fan after that. I know, right? It was basically ever since Steph Curry got drafted. So I remember, David Lee and Darrell Wright and all those other players that were in the starting five. Brandon Rush, shout out to him. But oh god, he was not good. Ekpe Udoh. So we were at the game and I forgot where I was totally going with this conversation. What were you saying? Oh, so I remember seeing that guy, the Pirates of the Caribbean guy, part of the hoop troop. And I'm like, God, that guy stands out. So when I got a media credential for the first time, when I got it for game 1 against the Nuggets, I'm in the back. I'm leaving the media room and I'm going up to the press box. And I see the hoop troop there. And I see Pirates of the Caribbean guy stretching, warming up as soon as he's about to go into the tunnel to go get the fans amped up. I didn't, but I was
Oh, God, can you imagine if you talked to him and he's like, oh, I've been through a lot lately. I got Amber Heard pooping in my bed. Yeah. Sorry, I had to chime in with that. You said Pirates of the Caribbean guy, and the first thing that popped in my head is like, Johnny Depp's going through a lot right now.
I had to give Marilyn Manson a pill just so he'd stop talking. Dude, but when I saw that, I got a little emotional. I was like, dude, this guy's still around.
Oh, I know, dude. He's been doing it for years.
My man. Oh, it was great. I should have said hi to him.
Are you going on Saturday?
No, not going to be going on Saturday. I got my got a Little League, actually. Centerville Little League in Fremont, who is dedicating the field to my dad. So that's going to happen
Very
from
nice.
3 to 3:30. So I'm going to try and get home for the Warrior game after that. But so not going to be going to this one on Saturday. So understandable. But I thought about it. But then,
Yeah. No,
can't
totally makes sense. Can, absolutely. So, Steven, you still feel confident in this series. I still feel confident in this series, but I do think that this is going to go a little longer than I anticipated. I know I said 5 games originally. I thought they would have swept if they won last night. But just the physicality and the fact that the Grizzlies are not backing down and making threes, they're not scared of the Warriors. So I can see them stealing a game at Chase Center. Hopefully not Saturday and hopefully not Monday. But I don't know, man. This might go a little longer than anticipated just because they match up very well with us. And GP2 will be missed. So I wonder, how do you go forward with your starting lineup now without him? Do you
go back to the original? Go back to the original. You bring Kevon Looney back. You just go back to the original like you were doing throughout the playoffs. If you look at the numbers, and you know what, might as well. I'll share the screen right now.
Yeah, Steven's pulling it up.
We're here. Pulling it up. Pulling it up. Pulling it up. All right. Here we go.
Are you singing Charlie Brown?
Yep. So 39 minutes. You see the defensive rating right there. Other than the Jonathan Kuminga lineup, which is interesting, but that's only had 13 minutes of time on the court. Look at the defensive rating for the time when Looney is there, along with Dre and Wiggins and Poole without Steph. So I'm interested to see that, because that one was a pretty common lineup. And then you go down the list to when it's Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Dre, which is, where are you? Come on, there we go. It's at 80, and they're 11 minutes on the floor.
Damn, so, NBA.com does fantastic stuff with their stats.
Oh yeah, 100%. So that's 11 minutes. There's only so much you could draw from that throughout the playoffs, but I think you go back to that, see how you can combat it, and then just have Steve Kerr try and go through his rotations and trust that he could do it. I got faith in him. I don't think he's going to. I got to say, man, Taylor Jenkins, even though he's kind of hypocritical because he called out the refs for the Timberwolves, and then when he was asked about the play yesterday, he said, you got to trust the refs.
Yeah, like, okay, Taylor. He sidestepped a little bit last night, but hopefully there'll be more interviews between now until Saturday, and he understands Steve Kerr's frustration.
But he's a very good coach. What he draws up on the inbounds, like he knows what he's doing. So I don't know. Steve Kerr's going to have to outcoach him in these next couple of games too,
which he can.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I'm with you, Steven. Go back to the original starting lineup with Kevon Looney in there. Bring Poole off the bench. You're going to need him. And you're going to need, this is one thing I worry about with Clay, is that he's been waiting so long for these moments that he's just kind of in his own head a little bit. Not to say that he can't get out of it, because there's been other playoff performances that have been great where he was healthy. But I mean, we all know Clay is great when it matters most in game 6s, or even, after that, before that, if it comes to a game 7. But I don't know. I was just kind of disappointed with the way he played after clanking those 2 missed free throws. But I do expect him to bounce back. Maybe coming home will be just right for them. But again, Chase Center needs to back him up.
God, get going early, please, Clay. Like We've seen it in the regular season when he doesn't let the game come to him and he's missing some looks early. He really starts to press. He starts to force things. Like, and last night, it felt like shot after shot after shot, one was just as bad as the other. Like, it kept going that way. So I do want to see some improvement there. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna bring this up too, as we are just.
He's pulling up more stuff.
I'm pulling up more stats because why not? In this last game, I'm gonna share the screen here.
Share it.
This is a number that stuck out to me. Now you can take this with a grain of salt if you want. But if you look at the 3-pointers, actually, let me get this thing totals. There we go. All right. So last game totals, playoffs. If you look at the 3-pointers and you're seeing the closest defender, when they had an open look, when the defender was 4 to 6 feet away, 0 of 19 from the floor. Now, you can think what you want about that. You could say, well, the defender might have been 4 to 6 feet, but they closed out and they probably got a hand in his face. Okay, that's fine. But still, if the nearest defender was 4 to 6 feet and you will 0 for 19, that's an issue. Like, you can't have that happen again. And I don't think it will happen again. So it's not necessarily that a lot of these shots were contested. I mean, a lot of them were open and they just could have knocked down those threes. I think that's going to change.
I hope so, man. I hope so. And as we always say, we'll see what happens on Saturday night. But I have a good feeling.
We'll see what happens, bro.
Oh yeah, we'll see what happens. But I have a good feeling. The Warriors will bounce back. It's going to be hard to replace GP2, but they've done it before. They'll be okay. NFL international games were announced today. We got 5 of them this year, Steven. That seems like a lot, but that's what the NFL wants now, is a lot of games overseas. And just to tell you all of them, we get the Vikings at the Saints in Tottenham Hotspur on October 2nd. That's going to be week 4. The Packers have to give up a home game and play the Giants in Tottenham Hotspur a week later. And then we get the Broncos at the Jaguars the day before Halloween on an ESPN Plus exclusive. So we're getting a lot of streaming exclusive games. Then they go to Germany and have the Seahawks play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sorry, Jonathan Allen, you're not going to have a game over in Munich. And then you have the 49ers playing in Mexico City against the Arizona Cardinals the Monday before Thanksgiving. So this has been in the works for a while now with the 49ers and the Cardinals trying to play in Mexico City. They were, I think, originally supposed to do it in 2020, but obviously COVID messed things up. And this is, there you go. And this is the best case scenario. Actually, this is not good for the Niners because by this time that they play the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins will be back from suspension, you assume. So it'll be interesting, watching the Niners play in Mexico City, and we saw the Raiders do it back in 2016 when they played the Houston Texans. But, Steven, just your overall thoughts. This seems like a lot of games to be played overseas. You have fans like the Green Bay Packers giving up a home game, and they have 9 of them this season. But I don't know, I understand it's good for the league, but do we need 5 games overseas? And, aren't the fans, the hard-paying fans that go to these games, missing out?
Well, we don't, but they want it. I mean, they want to make their game global, and they feel like they can. And they sell out those arenas. And I'm sorry, but none of these stadiums that we have here, I know there's a rich history with Lambeau and all that, but they don't compare to the soccer stadiums out there.
You ever been to Lambeau, though?
I've never been to Lambeau.
Okay.
Never been. I've never been to any of these other soccer stadiums either, but I can tell you that they do not compare to the ones in England. I can't really speak for the one in Munich. I can't speak for Estadio Azteca. I know the last time the Raiders played there, they barely even had the field ready. So I don't know what's going to happen there.
And then they had to move the game with the Rams and Chiefs to L.A. because the stadium had massive damage a week prior before the game was supposed to be played there.
So we'll see if that's actually played in Mexico City. But I mean, I remember that. Didn't they have a concert there and they had to move everything off the field?
Got fucked up,
but I hope these teams complain when they have 4 road games around their 1 home game internationally. I'll never forget that Raiders season in 2019, as pissed off as I was about the Khalil Mack trade to the Bears, when they had the Raiders and Bears in London and they sandwiched that in between 2 other road games for the Raiders, or excuse me, 4 other road games for the Raiders. I want to see which team that happens to this year. I don't know if it's going to be the Saints, Vikings. I don't know if it's going to be the Packers and Giants, but I don't care. I don't care either way. I don't have as much passion for this as you do, Derek. Apparently, you're just keep the game in America.
I don't want to sound like that guy, but
you do.
No, I mean, I understand. It's no secret the Jaguars want to go to London. They want to be London's team. I don't know what this does for the Packers. they're they're such a small market and their fans go through a lot of crap. Like I think it's kind of weird to take a home game from the Green Bay Packers and do it in London.
You got that right.
I think that
you're correct there.
What's up?
You're correct there.
Okay.
I like how they're trying to make like the Jags the team of London.
I'm telling you, man, the London Jags. If Shad Khan gets his way, that's what's going to happen.
Maybe that's why they drafted Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence is the closest thing to looking like an actual prince. So you make him like a sir and everything. So Trevor Lawrence,
prince-ish.
Sir Trevor Lawrence of Jacksonville, and then
Sir Trevor and Sir Trevon Walker.
Then like Russell Wilson is there in Denver, and he's just gonna stay in London. He's going, I really like it here.
Russell Wilson today on Good Morning Football sounding like such a politician. Oh man, yeah. These London games kind of feel like Super Bowls sometimes. Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, they do not.
They are not. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to watch the 49ers play that Monday before Thanksgiving in Mexico City. And we'll see if they get a bye after that, because usually you get a bye after one of these international games, but that seems like a late bye. So we'll see.
That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I don't know when bye weeks cut off, but let's see here. So that would be, what is that, week 13?
I'm not sharing this screen either, am I? Hang on. I'm sorry. I didn't want to make sure.
You got something else going on there?
No, I just wanted to look at the bye weeks from last year and just compare.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would be week 13 or week 14 when the following week after the week they play the Arizona Cardinals. So they make it a late bye, but I've seen also where teams travel internationally and they're like, nope, you're playing next week too.
Week 14, NFL 2021, December 13th. December 12th. December 12th was those games. So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at most likely like a week 12, week 13 bye there, week 12 bye possibly. That's a late bye.
It's a late bye, so they'll have to power through. But yeah, we'll get the full schedule next Thursday, and I am excited as all hell for that, Steven. Aren't you?
I'm very excited.
We're talking bye weeks.
You know what? Who do you think? I'm just actually, I'm not even I'm gonna answer my own question. I'll go to you.
Okay.
Who do you think is gonna have the best schedule announcement? Because it's gonna be the Atlanta Falcons. Their social media group,
good.
They do every year with the schedule release. They do a fantastic job with their schedule release.
Don't the Panthers have a good Twitter team too, and the Colts?
Panthers do too. Yeah, guess these teams in the South. What are they drinking over there?
Actually, I do remember the Chiefs. I know that, we have a lot of Raider fans on this podcast, but the Chiefs do a great job with their Twitter, because I remember one year it was just Andy Reid coming out. They cut a video together with just him going, like every opponent they had every week was just like, all right, everybody, getting ready for the LA Chargers. I'll have any questions if you want them. Time's yours. And then it would just be every clip was that. It's like, all right, we're coming up against the Vegas Raiders here. Pretty good football team. Got any questions? Time is yours. And it was just that over and over and over again. It was pretty good. Just a few topics here, Steven, and I want to get your quick opinions on. Ryan Tannehill is getting canceled. Everyone hates him on social media now because he, in the same kind of fashion as Brett Favre and Ben Roethlisberger, who both were on record saying we don't want to mentor Aaron Rodgers or Mason Rudolph. And while it has been reported that Ryan Tannehill was not notified that Malik Willis was going to be taken, it also was reported that he called Malik Willis to congratulate him and welcomed him on the team. However, the only thing that anybody wants to care about is the fact that Ryan Tannehill said that I'm not really going to mentor Malik Willis. If he learns things along the way, that's great, but I'm not really going to go out of my way to do that. Well, it doesn't sound great. It's not something that we need to kill Ryan Tannehill over, in my opinion. It's just something that people say. We don't know what goes behind closed doors. I'm assuming that Ryan Tannehill has been nothing but gracious to Malik Willis, and he hasn't even got there probably yet. But also, I read that Ryan Tannehill was going through massive therapy after the loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm sure it was devastating because he was kind of the catalyst in that game with the 3 interceptions. So he's going through a lot, and he's also trying to keep his job. He is not. He's a free agent after this season. He does not have a contract, so he needs to prove that he can still be worthy of being the quarterback on this team. However, on the flip side, I do understand that it's not really something great public to say, and it just goes to show that Jimmy Garoppolo is just a true trooper. He could have had all the right in the world last year, even this year, to say, yeah, I mean, it's my team. I'm not going to babysit Trey, but he didn't, and he's been very gracious to him. To the media, I'm sure behind closed doors, he's like, this is bullshit. But I think we need to lay off Ryan Tannehill a little bit. Everyone's just kind of killing him right now, and he's been going through a lot, obviously. He's trying to prove his worth to this team. I think everybody just needs to lay off Ryan Tannehill a little bit.
Yeah, I don't really care either way. I mean, Tannehill just saying I'm not going to mentor this guy, and then it turns into a whole thing when really it doesn't mean anything. Like even when Jimmy Garoppolo is like coming off as Captain America, like saying like, oh, I'm going to help this citizen out. And it's like, dude, are you? What are you going to do? Like, you know what I mean?
Jimmy's Captain America, not in the Subway ad.
I don't know.
Mamma mia, when they gonna make me like gabagool?
Yeah, the capicola. But no, man, I didn't really make too much of it. I did see the therapy stuff afterwards, and I think the reports actually about the therapy happened after he said those mentor comments. So people were going after him, and then it's like, oh, this dude was going through some mental health stuff. Okay,
exactly.
Like this is different. So, but I get where he's coming from, man. Like he's not. This might have been different if AJ Brown were on the team, but AJ Brown is not on the team anymore.
Yeah,
like,
true.
He's got to figure something out. He's got a season to worry about. Like I do believe that these guys want to win, and so it's just if you're gonna use this season as a way to mentor Malik Willis, and just do what any quarterback does, and this is what Jimmy Garoppolo does, while teaching him some things along the way. But it's like just lead by example. Lead by example, and that's all you got to do. And I think that he's going to do that because Ryan Tannehill, not a bad dude.
No.
Like when Ben Roethlisberger said it, well, we're like, oh, wow, Ben Roethlisberger, not really that great of a human being when you really think about it. Like Ryan Tannehill is not that type of dude. So we are overreacting to it. And, it's just something to get outraged about just because football, any news that comes around football. It's just we're gonna go over crazy about it.
We do love football as a society, and especially
facts. Quite the Tannehill that Willis has to climb, huh? That was
not bad.
That was terrible.
No, but I mean, like Ryan Tannehill went in and stole the job from Marcus Mariota in Tennessee. I'm sure Marcus Mariota wasn't happy about Ryan Tannehill being there. So it's the way of the NFL.
Yep, it's a business.
It is a business, and when your business is failing, do you bring in someone that used to run the business? I'm asking because the Lakers are going to bring in Phil Jackson. Jeannie Buss is bringing in her ex-fiance to come in and pick the coach for the Lakers. Now, this is interesting to me because this was announced a day after the newest episode of Winning Time. I know you're not caught up, Steven, but just to tell you what happened in the episode, Jerry West has no job on the Warriors at the time because he left the team to not be their head coach anymore. But he's kind of a consultant.
The Lakers. You mean the Lakers?
What I say?
You said the Warriors.
My bad. Warriors. Lakers.
It's fine. I just wanted to make sure because he did have a job with the. Well, he had a job with the Warriors, so I just wanted to clarify. Anyway, cool.
Yes, Jerry West was the one to tell everybody don't trade Klay Thompson away for Kevin Love, and it was a great idea. So back, whatever happened in reality, but on the show, Jerry West is given the challenge of having to pick between two of the two coaches, Paul Westhead and Jack McKinney. Jesus Christ, terrible with names now.
Guy from Ford versus Ferrari. He played the guy who owned Ford too. How about that?
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Yeah, you're right. Jesus,
Jack McKinney. Yeah,
you're good with role players, with supporting actors that don't get a lot of name recognition in other movies.
I'm just good with IMDb, Derek.
That's fair. So Jerry West is given the challenge to pick between Paul Westhead and Jack McKinney. And now, 30, 40 years later, Jerry Buss ran the
You're
Warriors.
doing a fantastic job
Thank
with
you.
this. I got to tell you.
It's just a good analogy. Jerry Buss had to do that back then, and now Jeannie Buss is doing it now, asking a former coach, her former lover, to pick the new coach of the Lakers. You think that's weird?
In a way, who's been picking the coach lately? Like,
LeBron James. Well, actually, I don't.
Exactly.
No, I mean Rob Pelinka probably picked Frank Vogel.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with the Lakers, man. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, it is a little weird, but I don't think it's a bad thing to bring in Phil Jackson to try and handpick the next head coach. It might be a good thing.
You might want to convince Phil to come out of retirement and coach the team. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're going to be a little harder on LeBron James, and you're not making decisions here. We are the Lakers. We're bigger than you in the grand scheme of things. I also heard rumors that they're waiting on the Jazz to blow up, and if Quinn Snyder wants to get out of that bad situation there, if they keep Donovan Mitchell or if they trade Rudy Gobert. That'll be interesting to see if Quinn Snyder becomes Pat Riley 2.0 with the Lakers.
The Quinn Snyder, who looks like looks like the conductor of an orchestra.
Yeah, looks like a conductor of an orchestra after he killed everybody in the audience. He looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
There's that one gif of him like doing something with his lips, like putting lip balm on, and it looks like he just put like a little bit of cocaine on his teeth and just like brushing his teeth with it.
Gumming it.
He's gumming it, baby. So yeah, that's a weird thing that I saw. And then the Giants and Dodgers. So the Giants and Dodgers are playing second game of the series they have. Is it a 3-game series this week?
Just a 2.
Oh, that's weird. It's 2-game series.
Yeah,
anyway.
2 games.
So the Dodgers won last night. Rodon lost his first game as a pitcher this year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So, Steven, just seeing how things match up, what are the Giants right now? They've lost 9 games?
Dude, to be honest, I've been locked in on the Warriors. I don't even know what I know they've lost 4 of the last 5. Okay. I know that.
So far, I know it's really early, but do you expect them to compete with the Dodgers this series as far as, like, it's not going to be like last year where it was so competitive in the NL West, but the Padres are better than a year ago. We think so far they are. But do you think it's going to be like a season ago where they're battling it out for the Dodgers for NL West supremacy?
No, but I do think they're going to be battling it out for the wild card. The Giants haven't had anybody. Like, dude, I just tuned into a game this weekend, and there's some guy named Ford who's coming up to bat. I'm like, I've never even heard of this guy. They've had some issues with COVID, people going on the health and safety protocol list. They should be getting those guys back. Lamont Wade is going to be coming back. So I'm still confident. I mean, just like we say, like whenever we say it's 6 games into the season or whatever, there's still 157 more of these to go, 156, whatever. I mean, right now they're 16-8, 24 games. Do the math. 138 more of these things to go. So I'm feeling okay right now. Do I think with 138 games left in the season that they're going to be competing with the Dodgers for the National League West? If I say yes, are you going to hold it against me?
100%. Get a calculator, baby. Do the math.
Oh, man. We made 1,000 pods to make you move your ass. Anyway. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not feeling any type of way about it right now. I am going to watch that game. I can't wait for that game, actually. This is going to be the first time with I'm going to have the basketball on the small screen and the Giants up on the big screen here. And unfortunately, Jessie just got word that she has to work, so I'm going to be on my lonesome. And supposedly, Derek, she just messaged me this. The wall of smell is back. The wall of stink. And it's,
you got to tell that hoarder to just stop stinking up the apartment above you.
And I'm not going to accuse anyone of being an alcoholic, but I've seen,
She reeks of the sauce.
No, it's not that. She I'm not supposed to, but we have this weird thing where we have it's not called like it's what's it called? The trash valet is what it's called. They have a trash person walking around. You could just put your trash outside your front door, and they come and pick it up Sunday through Thursday. It's a pretty cool system, actually.
No way, really?
Yeah. So you don't have to go out to
one of my treadmills in front of your front door?
No, see, those are not allowed.
Shit.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find a donation center or something. I don't know what's gonna help with that. Maybe take it to Goodwill. But
maybe
it's like, hey, here's my broken treadmill, helping out everybody.
It's not broken. It just makes a lot of noise anyway.
But she had I looked up and she had multiple wine bottles in one of those holsters,
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, that's a lot. And I've seen those before, so I'm like, damn, you like your wine.
Is that the smell? Is it a winey smell?
No, it's still. I mean, if it smelled, if the trash was what the smell was, then the trash would be a dead animal.
God, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that works out.
Yeah, we informed the office about it. We'll see what they say. And I'm not going to call the apartment complex out. I'm not going to do that. And she has a lovely dog, I think he's a Frenchie. And I'm sure she's watching this podcast right now. Big fan.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm just it's a little frustrating getting that text, in the middle of the podcast.
That does suck, but at least you'll have some good games to watch. Because we got what is it, 76ers and Heat coming up here in 40 minutes?
I believe so.
Without Joel Embiid. And the rumor is, I saw this tweet, but then it was deleted, so I'm not sure if it's actually accurate.
Ooh.
But game 3 is supposed to be Friday for the 76ers and Heat. And supposedly that is when they're going to announce that Joel Embiid is MVP.
Wow. How do you know that? Who said that?
I saw someone tweet that today that works for, God, what was it? USA Today or New York Times? Yeah, the tweet was some. It was deleted, so I'm maybe this guy got some bad info. But the original tweet was that there's going to be an expectation of a lot of NBA media and NBA personnel going to attend Game 3, and the expectation is that that's where they're going to announce that Joel Embiid is MVP, and he may make his return in the mask.
He might. I love that. Now he turned into an actual Bane. So yeah, we got the Heat, Sixers, Mavericks, Suns today, and then on Friday, because there's a total day off tomorrow, it's going to be these same two teams, except they're just going to flip home court.
We just need that Suns Mavericks series to go as long as this Grizzlies series goes, hopefully.
Yeah, agreed there. And then on Saturday, Bucks, Celtics, Grizzlies, Warriors. That's just automatic. There's just automatic tune-in all day on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Saturday, I'm going to need to watch that game late because I'm flying to Buffalo tomorrow night. Old Red Eye, as Greg loves to do. Meeting Greg in Buffalo. We're taking care of my grandma, and we're watching the Warriors there.
Oh, good. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. You know,
is he a rewinder kind? Is he the type to rewind plays?
Dude. God, Jesus. I'm so glad that. Maybe he does. Maybe my grandma does have DVR. Shit. My dad is extremely annoying with rewinding plays over and over and over again, and just like, dude, let's get caught up here. Like he doesn't. I hate saying this out loud, but there are times where you want to link up your TV with Twitter and see what everybody's talking, and I hate him saying that out loud. And my dad just loves to pause a play, go back, watch it over and over and over again, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying. So hopefully that doesn't happen on Saturday night.
I'm a big rewinder. I've turned into a rewinder guy. Like I managed to catch up, but there are certain plays that I got to rewatch like 3 or 4 times to see how it really happened.
When you're watching, if it's fine if it's just you watching, but when you're with other people, be kind. Don't rewind.
That's a great reference.
Thank you. It's a great movie too. Speaking of, actually, there's no relation to
rewind.
So let's rewind back to the last podcast. See, I told everybody that I saw Dave Chappelle on Saturday night at the Hollywood Bowl, and it was a great performance. And as I told everybody here, that you had to conceal your phones because they didn't want anything leaking out. Well, maybe they should look for other things too, because last night at the same venue, Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles, and this was a added performance. Chappelle was originally just supposed to do Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. He does a show last night on Tuesday, and sure enough, somebody tackles him on stage, pulls out a gun slash knife thing. I've been hearing different reports, but apparently it's a gun or it's a knife that's supposed to look like a gun. Whatever it is, he had a weapon on him. And then his security team, Dave Chappelle, in the performance that I saw, was pretty much praising his security team of how good they are. And they missed the guy bum rushing the stage, and then they proceeded to beat the crap out of this guy. Chappelle even did. Supposedly, he was making fun of the guy and saying, "I'm about to go jump this dude." They broke his arm. He looks not great. They pulled him out in to the hospital in an ambulance. It just seems like Dave Chappelle is kind of like living out his gangster fantasies, just like smoking a cigarette while a bunch of his goons are beating down on this guy, just being like, you fucked up. But it is terrible that it happened, and that shouldn't happen. I know that Dave Chappelle is a very controversial person right now, and whether you agree with what he says or what he doesn't say, no one should be attacked on stage like that. That's just terrible. But what's hilarious is that Chris Rock was there. Of course he was. And he grabbed the mic from Chappelle and said, "Was that Will Smith?" So we are at a weird, weird time with that stuff right now.
Nah, it's funny that Chris Rock said that, but there's a sense of truth to it, man. People follow by example, and I think that Will Smith kind of gave the okay to some people who might not be okay with jokes to go up and feel like they could do whatever they want to a comedian when he's on stage. I don't know. What was the motive exactly?
We don't know, but I do believe from what I've read, it's not anything related with the transgender community. It wasn't anything with that. It was just some guy trying to bum rush the stage to attack Chappelle. As far as we know. Yep.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Wow. I mean, the dude is clearly messed up. So, I don't know. Well, I mean, what? Dave Chappelle, this guy. That's all I got to say. I got nothing. I saw this. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's just like, could you imagine, like, if Louis C.K. were doing it or something like that?
Oh, man.
Dude, like, my God.
Well, yeah, it's just weird. Like, I felt weird just being like, oh, I was there 3 days ago and my performance was fine, and this one was weird. It's good. The first thing that came into my head was I saw Chappelle years ago at the Oddball Comedy Festival in Austin, Texas, and this was like his big comeback from comedy. And he had a great performance. Talked about life. He kind of had lulls where he didn't know what to say, but it was a good performance. And then 3 weeks later, he's in Boston, and people are booing him and being unruly and throwing books on the stage for him to read. And he's like, "Fuck you." And he leaves 15 minutes into his set, and people want their money back. And he said infamously on one of his Netflix specials, "Detroit, you are never getting your money back," or whatever he was. But yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder, like, they were shooting stuff for a special, and I wonder if this will be included in it now. I also saw that Jimmy Fox was there, and Chris Rock was there, and Busta Rhymes was there. And I was like, damn, I went on the wrong night.
Oh, man, a lot of controversial people in the crowd there then, huh? Jeez.
Jamie Foxx now, too?
Nah, not Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is fine. Jamie Foxx is totally cool.
Is Busta Rhymes complaining about masks or some shit?
Nah, there's that. There's plenty to go back with Busta Rhymes. You know, he's a little homophobia.
Yeah.
Little homophobia in his time. It's just,
really?
Yeah, there's been a little bit of that.
Oh man,
but that was back a little while back.
Come on, Busta Rhymes, you gotta
maybe
get yourself in check. Whoa.
Nice work.
Thank you. And yeah,
another one.
We started the podcast talking about the guy that climbed the Salesforce Tower, who calls himself the pro-life Spider-Man. Just such a ridiculous thing.
Terrible.
Yeah. For what? So he climbed to the top of the building and then he was arrested. What are you trying to prove there?
That's it. I don't know. I do not know that he values his life.
He values his life so much that he's willing to climb up a building with no protection.
Exactly, dude. I don't know, man. Why does someone glue themselves to the floor in a Timberwolves game?
Yeah, we never talked about that.
Yeah.
The protesters at the Timberwolves games, the one to glue their hands to the court.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, I'm with you.
Why does anyone do anything, Derek? Why is life?
Yeah, well, why is life? That's a good question to ask. Why is life? And that's how we'll end this podcast.
Oh, man.
All right, everybody. We will be back next week. The Warriors play Monday and Wednesday, so we'll do Tuesday and Thursday. And Steven, I'll ask you now live here. Do you want to do a live reaction show on Thursday to the schedule release?
Can I answer no?
What do you mean no?
Pretty straightforward. Just a no. I'd like to.
Well, it'll be half reacting to the schedule and half recapping the Warriors game from the night before.
Maybe.
All right. That's a hard maybe. That's a hard maybe from Steven.
His schedule release.
It won't please. We won't do schedule release radio where we go win. We'll just look at the schedule like, oh, that's cool. Okay, now Warriors talk.
Okay, that's fair. All right, well,
sounds good to me.
All right,
and next week, I may have some news to announce.
Joel Embiid coming back?
No.
No.
Maybe somebody else is coming back, but that's a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, lady and gentlemen, Jesse and Ernie.
Yeah, like anybody cares. That's a tease. All right, everybody. Warriors play on Saturday, and then they play on Monday. So we'll be back Tuesday and Thursday next week. Steven, say what you say always, my friend.
And it's just we just opined this all today, man.